Hello, hello. Please excuse the really messy hair. Hello, hi everybody. I'm Emmy. Welcome to carpediememmie, and welcome to a really exciting Q&A this evening. I will be joined by Amelie's leading lady, Audrey Brisson, to chat about her opportunity to play the leading role and also what it's like to bring back such a beautiful show during these really weird times, because theatre is back. My hair's kind of gone very Amelie-esque, and I didn't plan that. But yes, I hope you're all well. Hope you've had a lovely week. I think I might have to sort out this bit of hair because I just do a bit my head in a little bit. Let's see if I can hide it. So, how's your week been? Before we get started, please let me know how your week's been. I've just had my first vaccination today, so that's right, I was in a rush. But it's all good because I'm back in time, which I didn't think would happen. So, during this Q&A, if you have any questions at all for Audrey, then please do leave them below and we will try and get through them. And she is here, so let's get her in. Oh, Hayley was hitting me today, so she should be here any minute. Anticipation and waiting. Hello! Hello, how are you?
I'm very good, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. I've just rushed back from having my vaccine. I was like, quick, I need to go.
How did it go and which one did you get?
Pfizer. It was all right. I was a bit I got really anxious about it, and I was like, oh, are you done?
Well done. You might have a sore arm in a few hours and then tomorrow you'll be lovely.
Yeah, I don't mind. To be fair, I was like, right, I might go out for dinner tonight with friends, but I'm like, do I risk it? Do I not? And now I'm like, I might just risk it.
Good idea. Good idea.
Why not? Done. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for your time to talk today.
My pleasure.
It's I absolutely adore the show, so I was like, as soon as they were like, she's happy to chat, I was like, okay. So, let's get into it. First of all, what was your journey into theatre? Where did it begin for you?
It began when I was born, I think. I worked, but basically both my parents are in the industry. My father is a music composer, my mother a singer, performer, now a designer. My father was a composer / musician for Cirque du Soleil when I was, I think he started in '87. And then I was part of the show myself when I was 4. So I think that's when it started. I believe I had another stage presence before I was 4, but I don't remember that.
You don't remember that one? That's
the 4 one I do remember. And so that's when it started. And then, paused briefly here and there, but always came back to it.
Yeah, and I guess as well then for you, because obviously your parents were in the industry, it was like a natural thing for you to fall into it, I guess.
Yeah, sometimes I do feel like I had absolutely no choice, and there have been moments in my life where I just thought I really don't want to do that. I want to try something else, but it kept pushing me back. Pushing me back rather, not pushing me back.
Brilliant. So what kind of training did you do to develop? What kind of skills do you think have been fundamental for you in your training?
So back in Montreal, or the province of Quebec in Canada, we have the equivalent of your A levels.
Okay, yeah.
CEGEP, like pre-university program for 2 years, and I did that in classical singing, and then did some BA in sociology, and then came here and did another BA in acting, music theatre. So yeah, that's it. And was practicing many instruments from very young age. My parents were like, it doesn't matter what you play as long as you play something. I hope you don't mind. I'm in my dressing room. So
yeah, it's fine.
Okay. It's all music, Amelie music anyway, so
There you go. It's all fitting.
yeah. So yeah, those are my qualifications.
Wicked. So obviously you're part of Amelie, and it must feel absolutely amazing to be a part of it as it comes into the West End. So how does it feel to be a part of that reopening of the West End with Amelie?
It feels absolutely fantastic, and I mean not just because of, you know, the pandemic situation, and so I feel extremely privileged to be part of this first wave of theatres reopening, because I know that so many amazing performers, a cast, crew, front of house team, you know, people, anyone working within the theatre industry, many of them are still sat at home waiting for it to reopen. And so I am very, very lucky to be part of this first wave. And, you know, Amelie, the story of Amelie is so fitting to this. Do tell me if that's problematic.
No, it's fine. I like it. It's all right.
I'm personally too small to get it down, but I can beg someone to come and help me.
Brilliant. So how did you come across the opportunity to play Amelie in the first place? Because obviously you've always been with it from when it first started. So how did you come across the opportunity, and what kind of drew you to Amelie, do you think?
So I had worked with the director Michael Fentiman back in 2012 in Lion, Witch and Wardrobe. And oh my God, I mean, I think we talked a few times since then, but nothing else. And then I get a phone call from him saying that he had a meeting, his sort of, you know, audition, then testing to see if he was interested in directing this new adaptation. And so yeah, he called me and he said, it's still not sure, I'm kind of discussing it, but if I was to do it, would you be interested in being my Amelie? So it was completely out of the blue, and it was perfect timing, because I just said no to a project that I was humming and hawing and feeling super regretful about it, and, you know, woe is me, felt like I would never work ever again, and boom, I get this phone call. So it was a perfect gift. And, you know, when you look at, like, there's no wrong decisions in your life. Wow. But I mean, in this situation, you know, kind of going, well, it was the right thing to do, saying no to the other thing, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to do Amelie. And yeah, it was a beautiful gift, absolutely beautiful gift. I mean, I've loved every second of it, so it's amazing.
And I think as well, like, you've kind of made that role your own, because you've always been with it. I guess you've kind of really grown with her. So do you think that during the time that you've played that character, things have changed?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, the world around us has changed, and that, I think that's very much influenced the depth of the show. I've aged. Yeah, but I think. So we did it at the Watermill, and then we went on a very long tour, and then we had a month off, and then we went to the other palace for a Christmas stint. And so, like, really, this is our third chunk, yes. And it feels like every time you come back after a little break, you're able to revisit the story with a bit more, I don't know, it's not even more depth, it's just different layers, because you think you know the story in and out, and then well, especially in this particular version, where we have new members of the cast who will bring a different color, different texture to their characters, and you go, oh wow, I'd never seen that, or never heard that line said that way before. And then you know, we all have our personal stories that we can add to the lives of Amelie and other 𝗘𝗺બ્𝗶 Cafe members. So yeah, I don't know if I've answered your question. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what was challenging about developing this character? Because obviously, for people who know Amelie, know it for the film. You know, I personally knew it from the film, because it was kind of drummed into us at French class at school. You know, it was something we watched every single time there was a holiday coming up. Amelie would always come on. So what was it like for you to kind of develop that character?
I was like you. I've seen the film so many times in my life, and I absolutely loved it. It's I think that 𝗘𝗺's films are gold mines. They're all wonderful. So out there, if you haven't seen all of his films, go see it. It was surprisingly easy, and not easy in a blasé sense, but it was surprisingly natural. I think my journey to Amelie, and that's very much thanks to Michael Fentiman, who had very clear ideas of what he wanted. He wanted to remain truthful to the essence of the film, but not trying to emulate it, because you can't, because why try to emulate something that's already wonderful in its own genre? And so I think that when you are led by someone who has already strong visions, like he set a very strong parameters within which I had freedom to experiment and to play. And I think improvisation, or any freedom to play, is best when you're well surrounded, or I was going to say routine. I've got child parenting in my head right now. When you're well surrounded with parameters. Parameters, am I saying the right word? So yes, so it felt very natural to follow her, and also I am a little bit like her in some aspects, not completely, but like I saw it was easy for me to tap into that sort of hermit, voyeuristic, better, more comfortable in my little house, staring at other people than living it myself. So yeah, I mean, if anything, sometimes it's the challenge would be not to bring too much of that back home. So yeah.
So kind of making that clear distinction between what is on stage and not what you say, like keeping it at home, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a few questions that I keep missing. Someone has asked, have you ever spent the night in the little bedroom at the top of the set?
I don't think the security guards would let me. I would love to. I mean, it is very tiny, yeah, no, I wouldn't mind that, actually. It's very cozy, very comfortable, and that chair, I love that chair. It's perfect, and I think I have a feeling no one taller than me would find it as comfortable. So no, I haven't as yet, but I will try.
There you go. It's on your bucket list before the run's over. I'm just checking. Someone has asked, what is your favourite part of the show?
It varies. It generally, I wouldn't be able to answer that question, because there are some bits. Actually, funny enough, I was thinking about that on stage 2 days ago. How 2 years ago I had a moment, I think towards the end, which I always really enjoyed doing, and that this time round I found a little bit more challenging to get through that moment, whereas like so reverse. But currently what do I like? I've always enjoyed the backyard scene with my father, because 𝗘𝗺 is a treat to sing with and to play with on stage. So I've always enjoyed that. Okay, so at the end, I am now playing a new instrument, which I'm terrible at, but I absolutely adore it, for the bow. And so selfishly, as Audrey, that's my favorite moment, because I get to play this new instrument. But yeah, that's not in the story.
I mean, I love the finale, but when I came to watch you the other week, I was crying that much that I don't think I remember a lot of it. Honestly, I don't even know what happened. I think I was so emotional about being back, and obviously, like, for me, the album is what got me through lockdown. Like, I could not stop listening to it. And then I think it was then, like, hearing it again live just added a whole different layer to it.
Yeah.
And then I got to the finale and I was like, I can't stop crying. And because I was like 2 rows from the front, I was like, right, don't look up. Don't look up. Whatever you do, do not look up and make a connection. Just look down, like, get yourself composed.
No, look up. Come on. You know what? We've so many people who've come to see it. My agent came the other day, and she stayed for a second afterwards, and she said exactly the same thing. It was almost like one of the first times she'd been in London since this whole thing happened in a theatre. She was just, it was a mixture of joy, relief, happiness at the fact that everything was reopened, but also trepidation. And it is overwhelming, isn't it? Especially when you're in a lockdown situation, to be surrounded by people and to be back into this quick reality that is the West End, or that is Piccadilly Circus all day around. It's very overwhelming. And some people in the show, Rachel said to me, again, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, she said that it finally hit her. You know, we were so busy in the whole rehearsal process in Tech and reopening, and the other day she was on stage, and the whole, like, a wave of emotion at the reality of being back after a year and a bit of closure was very, very emotional, very overwhelming, and I think everybody will deal and experience
it was a moment. Like Mark and Sophie putting in the comments, like, I can vouch for crying. Yeah, it was bad. It was pretty bad. I've never cried so much. I was a bit like, right, I need to sort myself out because I'm missing out on it. But I was like, come on, compose yourself. But I think it was the music. Like I said, I think for me, it was just the album kind of got us through this lockdown. And then obviously when the announcement was that you'd come back to West End, I was like, oh my God, this is what I need. Like, I just need that back. You know, that kind of home back, which is lovely. Someone has asked, has your circus background helped you in physical acting?
Probably, definitely, yes. I think having an awareness of your body, of your body as an instrument. Yes, and also I think, you know, especially when I graduated here, and like the first few years of my career here in the UK were with R.I.P. knee-high, and which was still very, very physical, and I think it's the kind of work that attracts me most anyway. And so yes, I think the circus, yoga background, just general love of movement. I wouldn't say dance, because as my old dance teachers at the drama school would say, I'm terrible at remembering choreographies. But just movement and
yeah, it's like movement, isn't it?
Yeah, using your whole body to tell a story, to I like when things are not slightly outside reality, and so if you can have a character that has a particular physicality and just play around with it, and so it is in a way maybe some sort of dance. There you go, I'm a dancer now.
But I definitely see that in your character as well, because I think a lot of actors are still quite static with how they move around the stage, and I think for you, with Amelie, when you watch it, you're very aware of what you're doing, and it's through your body. It isn't just a voice and a body language. I can see that you're literally thinking about every kind of body movement through that, which is really, really nice to see.
Oh, thank you very much.
So obviously Amelie has been on quite a journey. Could you ever have predicted how it would have panned out for them?
Them, the characters, or them, the
show? Could you have predicted what had happened? Do you think it was kind of always in your kind of mind that that's where you'd want it to go?
To end up on the West End?
Yeah.
I don't think we predicted it. I say that as a first opening night, we were having some drinks in the bar of the Watermill, and the director and I just joked about all the awards that we were going to be nominated for, and we practiced our speeches, and we thought that it was going to have in silliness, because it was a relief of we've finally opened this show, and isn't it crazy and everything. So joke aside, like that little moment aside, I don't think we expected it. I think it's no surprise for us because we are extremely proud of the piece, and it's extremely exciting to have an actor musician show that is recognized and is brought to the West End, something that is slightly different to other shows that you would see here, and it's, you know, sometimes the West End might be a little bit less daring, and I mean, I'm not saying that we're particularly daring, but you know, I think it's amazing to get that recognition. Pardon.
And I guess as well, like you were saying then, because Amelie is so different from other shows, like you say, that are on the West End. You know, you've got that combination of actors and musicians on the stage, and you know, like you say, it's just very different to what you see out there right now, isn't it? So do you think that the West End should be a bit more daring with the shows they're putting on, kind of open up to shows like Amelie a bit more?
I think so. I absolutely think so. And quite often you have to go to is it regional theatres where
regional,
you'll find absolute gems of shows that are unable to come to the West End because, you know, and I understand why theatres have to be slightly more conventional, because they have the audience that they want, and like they want to make sure that people will come, and sometimes people are less interested in coming if it's too different, and because they want to you know, they want the safety of what they know. But I genuinely do think that the more diversity you'll find on the West End, the more interesting it'll be. I think we should trust the audience a bit more. Yeah,
and I think that's what, if I'm honest, I think that's what this time has done during the lockdown, because in a way I think it's kind of been a bit of a saviour not to have all the big musicals doing stuff, because then we've kind of opened ourselves up to more new work that we wouldn't necessarily have seen because it's so stuck in our ways.
I agree. I absolutely agree. So this has kind of pushed performers, actors, musicians, everything to do their own work, and when otherwise they perhaps wouldn't have. And so I think it's now about protecting that and supporting it. Also supporting the regional theatres that don't necessarily get as much money as the West End. So I mean, the Watermill, one of them, so beautiful. Go to the Watermill. You will have the best time in your life. Bring a picnic. We were there for 6 weeks. No. 9 weeks? Oh, shoot, I forget. We were there for quite a while. And I assumed that I would be definitely commuting every weekend. At times I even thought that during the rehearsal process I would be coming back, commuting every evening, because it's possible with the trains and everything. Didn't come back to London once, not one time. And with the day that we came back to London at the end of the Watermill run was a little bit not too dissimilar to that lockdown situation. It was a shock to the system to come back to busy London. So Bagner outside Newbury is the place. It's delicious.
But I do think, like you say though, like I said, I think this time has definitely, it's just made regional theatres kind of step up and go, look what we're doing, look what we can do.
Yeah. And
I do think, you know, like you say, I think Amelie's a great example of what can be done with something that starts so small.
Yeah, I agree.
So, was there any challenges recreating the show during COVID with all the COVID rules, or was it quite straightforward?
I think that we were fortunate that the theatre and the company it was really well organised. So it was a ship that was, don't know if I'm using the right expression, well oiled.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been doing it for a long time. Anyway, they were very well organised, and so from day one we felt extremely safe. We knew exactly when we needed to be tested. There were masks masks needed to be worn, hand sanitizers, oh my god, everywhere. And we were given like little ones to attach to ourselves, and policing people, like absolutely no hugging, no nothing. No, I think it was surprisingly very easy, and also I think it was the best way to do it, because had there been too much freedom, had we already, because of, I don't know, the magic pill, whatever, had we been allowed to enter the rehearsal room without masks, without any social distancing whatsoever, it would have been too big of a shock, because no one had, or barely anyone had worked during this time, and or seen anyone, or been in such a big group. So I think we all had our different timing of coming out of this slight weirdness. I think I was one of the last people to remove my mask once social distancing was allowed. No, sorry, to stop, because we can't socially distance with the show. So I think it was it around week 3 of rehearsals that they said we now find that we slowly can remove masks whilst we're doing rehearsals and getting closer. And I was keeping the mask quite I don't know, a bit longer than necessary, because I felt it was a little bit of like a blanket. It was a safety net, wasn't it? And I think we all had different times of feeling ready to remove it. I am blabbing. I am so sorry.
No, but it's true, isn't it? Because I mean, I work in a primary school, so for us, like, there's people that have started, because we're allowed to like take them off certain areas. I still don't take mine off because it is a blanket, and I'm still like, I'm not ready. Like, and and it is about just having that like assurance that it's okay to kind of take it at your own pace. And I guess for you guys, it was
a super garlicky sandwich at lunch and not worry about your breath afterwards.
And do you know what it's really good for as well? Is if you're really tired and you keep yawning, nobody knows.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
I love it. When I'm on the gate in the morning, I'm just going to keep yawning to my heart's content. No one's going to know. So obviously, you're a mum now. So does that really make it quite difficult with your schedule? Because obviously you're doing a lot more shows probably this time around. So how are you finding that?
It is. Well, I think it's doubly challenging because Chris and I are both in the show together. So we're both away in the evenings, but we are extremely fortunate to have grandparents coming over to help out. It's a completely new experience. We were used to doing the show and then going out for a drink afterwards and sleeping late, and suddenly now is after the show we're literally racing to go back home to relieve the babysitting and go back to our baby. And it's so it's I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a challenge. It's a complete different way of doing it, and it's one that requires being organized. So I'm learning how to be organized. But yeah, so far this is my 3rd job since having the baby, and the 3 theatres that I've worked with have been extremely supportive. So there's hope out there for new parents in this industry. It's good.
And I guess that's the thing. I guess you kind of can have conversations about that, because I think a lot of people kind of don't have babies till quite late on, do they, in the industry, because it is so demanding. Yeah,
it is demanding, and you do need to make big decisions, but again, like I said, so Michael Fentiman, the director, extremely supportive. We were having conversations after conversations before rehearsal started, just to make sure that we were both, Chris and I, happy with the way that it was going to be happening. The doors were completely open for her to be there in the rehearsal process with us, and it's, I must say, not to compare the two, but if you have in a rehearsal room, if you have a dog or a baby, it completely changes the mood. And I think it's a must. There should always be a dog or a baby.
Or a baby.
People are happy. And
you can just pass the baby around as well, I suppose.
Well, in other times we would, but not now.
Yeah, but not right now. Damn it.
That was the only sadness of people going, we really want to squish you, but we can't. So she was just there at the circle, in the circle, waving at everyone.
Oh, she's like a director already. I love it. So, if you could play any other character in Amelie, who would you play?
Ooh. 𝗘𝗺𝗏𝗶𝗹 or Fluffy. Now, do you know who Fluffy is?
Yeah.
All right.
But I mean, I would go for Fluffy for sure.
I think Fluffy the fish is a delight. But no, 𝗘𝗺𝗏, I find 𝗘𝗺𝗏's track extremely fascinating. I find him to be a delightfully complex character. But then I couldn't take that away from Johnson, because I think he's doing it so beautifully. So yeah. I don't know, or grumpy Joseph. I want to be a grumpy man. That's what I want to be.
Oh dear. Right, we've got a couple of questions. So if you could take one...
Is that Sophie?
Yeah. She's brilliant. She caught me crying and I was like, Sophie, stop looking. I was like, please stop. She's like, oh my God.
Sophie,
so if you could take one prop from the show home, which one would you take?
The chair in my flat. In my
Oh yeah, you love that chair.
Otherwise, Fluffy.
Fluffy, of course.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to think of props. And I'm sure we have loads. Definitely not the bag.
Why do you not like the bag?
It's a very, very cumbersome bag. And I think no one here is a lover. The beautiful stage management department, so they're not lovers of the bag. It's a gorgeous bag, but it never closes, and so it's always flapping open. And like, no matter how many magnets you put on that bag, it doesn't close.
It doesn't want to close.
So there you go. So not the bag, definitely.
Is there any news on West End extending or another tour?
No, I don't know. Probably not. I mean, we already know what's coming straight after us here in this theatre, so it wouldn't. Yeah. There's no extension possible.
Can we kick them out?
I'm not saying no, there's nothing. I'm just saying no. I have no idea. I am not in the know.
Oh, well, fingers crossed. What's the best thing about being a part of Amelie?
The team, the group. They're amazing. I mean, the music, being a part of active musicians, being surrounded by active musicians. So the ability to, before a show, to just go, can I just try your instrument? No. Yeah. Can you just play this for me? It's the music. The music, and I'm not saying, I mean, the music in the show is amazing, but the music around, the music outside during warm-ups, that's just absolutely gold.
Yeah, and I think because they are active musicians, there's a complete different relationship there, isn't there, to what you would maybe have with, say, like a performer and an orchestra. I guess that relationship's very, very different.
Yeah, and simply because, unfortunately, too often there's a separation between the orchestra and the people on stage. You know, when I did Pinocchio at the National, I mean, I got to chat with a few of them, and my God, they're all so amazing and lovely, but they're substage and we're on stage, and unless you really put your head down and take the time to say hello to everyone, like, you could just spend the entire show not even knowing how many people, what they look like. Which I think is a big shame that there isn't that connection between the two. So yes, in our version, that's what's great. That you know exactly who plays what at what time, when, why, you know, what they have for breakfast.
But yeah, like you say, I think there's just a completely different relationship between you and, like, you know, the way you kind of, the music's blending together, because, you know, they are moving around the stage, they are connecting with each other, and like you say, it's cutting up that barrier, isn't it, essentially, and saying, right, you know, how can we blend this together? So do you think there should be more of that in the industry, some more active musicians?
Well, yeah, but that's just because that's my taste. and I love it. Yeah, I think that just in general, having shows with people with different skills, and it's absolutely no disrespect to you know, the skill of speaking a text, because God, that's hard, you know.
Yeah.
And learning, understanding it, giving it a texture that hasn't been said before, you know, like all that. I completely respect that, but I also like to be wowed by people being able to go 𝗘𝗺̱, but like in that, just to wow
what
me,
they
wow
can
me
do.
with what
Yeah.
you can do, and actor musicians never cease to wow me. So that personally, I would love loads of shows, and also it would mean that they could have loads of jobs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that moves on very nicely to my next question. So obviously the album and the music is absolutely gorgeous. Do you have any favorites?
Yes. Again, I think that it does change. I mean, I'm really sorry for that answer, but it's because when you do the show for so long, you discover new bits. And also in this version, there's new. They tweak the orchestration a little bit. So now the bridge section in Window Seat, when Gina reads the letter that Amelie has faked from her dead husband, when she sings "From Where I Sit," the orchestration in that bit, they've added new strings. Oh my God, every night it just gives me the chills on my neck. It's stunning. So that's a very, very beautiful piece of music there. And again, my God, I love it all. Because I was going to say whenever Jez Unwin sings, because he's got a velvety voice, but then I love listening to 𝗘𝗺̱ fantastic Elton John, because it's not an easy song, and he makes it sound so bloody easy, and he goes from super high to super low, and I think it's his low notes that every oh my God, I'm ashamed that I suddenly blanked on the words, but that note that he does, it's just fabulous. So I love that. So I wouldn't say that it's like entire songs that I love.
No, it's more moments,
little moments, yeah. And yeah, just little bits of gems over there.
Yeah, and I guess that's what makes it so special for you then, because you've kind of known the music for so long now. So to be able to still have those moments where you go, oh my God, like, do you know what I mean? Like, that must feel really good still, that you're still able to have that, because I guess when you're doing a show so repeatedly, some people kind of can get stuck in there, you know, get stuck in it sometimes and not still find those moments like you do.
Oh, and we all get stuck, and I mean, myself included, we all have little moments of drought and going, oh my God, I feel like I'm repeating exactly the same thing over and over again in the same way. And but then there's always something in the universe that comes and kicks you in the butt and shows you something exciting. Yeah, I'm gonna share something. Yesterday night, because I was in that zone of a mixed of all going through the motions a little bit, and also being a bit nervous because there were some people in the audience that I knew. And my first speech, September 3rd, 1975, blanked completely blanked. So I was there, stood on the piano, looking at people around me, and nothing was coming out. So goes to show, you do a show God knows how many times, and then it comes to a point where if you don't keep it fresh, it becomes just, you know, you go through the motions, and then you blank like a dum-dum.
I bring your son again. What date have I got to say?
Exactly.
What year are we in? Have you had any other kind of funny moments during the show that have been like?
Yes. I mean, I think they even have a name for it now. They call it a brisson. So when somebody else fluffs a line, they say, "Oh, you've pulled a brisson." I haven't had many clean shows. I must say, consistency is something that I need to work on. Probably, really early on in the watermill, I blanked during halfway, the moment where I played the piano, and I tried again, and then I stopped, and then I tried again, and then I stopped, and then Rachel Dawson, who plays my mother, had to save me. She came, and then we really quickly went to the chorus together because I had no idea what I was doing. Couldn't remember my lines, couldn't remember the chords. I was just there, and it was all gone. So I think that one and yesterday's are the perhaps two biggest moments of blanking and fear that I've experienced in this show. But oh yeah, God, I fluff all the time. So whenever you come and see the show, know that chances are you're seeing a unique show because
Brilliant. So do you think audiences have felt safe coming back into the theatre?
Say that again.
Do you feel like the audiences that you've had in have felt safe coming back into the theatre?
Well, I can't speak for them, but I hope so. I really hope so. I mean, I have bumped into people in the streets after a show who just wanted to say that they had absolutely loved the experience of coming to the theatre. It was super well organized, and that actually it was better than before because you had extra seats around you to put your bag and your coat. Everyone, I think it is well organized. I think the theatre has really done a good job. But again, I'm only saying that from what I've heard because I haven't experienced it myself. So I hope they feel safe.
Do you find it quite difficult as well, like, you know, looking out now and seeing like masks? Like, do you find that quite difficult? Because obviously before you'd have like the facial expressions and stuff.
I thought that it would be harder than it is. I feared that because of the mask, people would be more reluctant to verbalize whatever they're feeling about the show. So like, be it laughter but it's surprisingly reading well. It's not as quiet as I thought it would be. So and again, I mean, it's weird how things become the new norm, doesn't it? Like seeing masked people is now just so normal.
Yeah.
So yeah. Not as strange as I thought it would be.
Yeah, because I guess for you guys, you kind of receive on what you see. So I guess, like you say, it's kind of been more comfortable for you than you thought to have to respond to them. So to tie this up, because I know you're on a really tight schedule to get ready for tonight's show, why do you think people should come and see Amelie?
Because it's a great show. Because it's about reconnecting, learning how to break that barrier of isolation and connecting with one another. And my God, isn't that what we need right now? Because as I said over and over again, the music is amazing. The musicians, the acting musicians are amazing because it's joy. The design, I mean, I find if even if you can't hear the music, that it's just so beautiful. Everything is lovely, and I'm biased but yeah, no, they should come because it's great.
It is
shit answer, but because I think it's great.
No, absolutely summed up perfectly. No, it's beautiful, and honestly, it's so good to have it back, even if it's just for this short time. Hopefully there'll be a life after this for you guys, because like you say, I think it's that reconnection that we all need. But thank you so much for your time, Audrey. I really appreciate it.
Much for having me.
And good luck with the show tonight.
Thank you.
I'm sure you won't have a Brisson moment tonight. You will be fine. If you do now, you need to let me know.
Okay.
Bless you. Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye.
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 So that was the amazing Audrey Brisson from Amelie. I hope you've really enjoyed this Q&A this evening. It was really good to chat with her and kind of get to grips with this fantastic musical. If you haven't seen it, it's on a limited time only at the I hope I'm saying that right, theatre in London until September. So it's well worth getting your tickets for. I've seen it twice. I saw it in the UK tour and I also saw it in London last Wednesday, and oh my god, it was beautiful. And like I say, I got quite emotional about it, so it was clearly very good. I will let you go now. I have got a guest in a couple of weeks. I will be chatting to Emmanuel Kojo, who's playing the Beast in the UK tour Beauty and the Beast in 2 weeks, and I hope to announce a guest for next week ASAP, because that would be absolutely amazing. But thank you so much for joining me tonight for Theatre&Tonic. I am Emmy, and keep up to date with all of my Theatre&Tonic episodes over on my Instagram or on my Twitter account, which is at 𝗘𝗺𝗶𝗹. Take care, have a great weekend, and goodbye.